Hello and welcome to the video on the initial checkout of the Subaru Brumby. Alright, so we bought this Brumby, a mate of mine and I have decided we're going to have a go at restoring this girl to her old glory. So far we've taken a few bits and pieces off to have a better look at it. Yesterday was all about getting it back to home and just removing some stuff to see how bad the rust is. We'll actually be looking for some help too if anybody's got any idea on things, bits and pieces, etc., or experiences. As you can see, it's got some cancer. We've pulled off all the strips, so under the strapping of course was some rust that we did know about. Some a little bit worse than we thought it was. There's the holes in the floors and the back there that we could see. Generally, mechanically it seems pretty good. It's only 150,000 Ks. We've opened the tailgate and discovered why it wouldn't open properly, because one of the brackets is broken and it's got a few other issues in the tailgate, so I think we'll have to get rid of that. Right hand side rear bumper needs some work. Underneath the body it looks as you'd expect for its age. The roof, we've found some issues. There's definitely some rust in the top there. We're going to need all the rubbers. The investigations I've done so far mean that it's going to be really difficult to get bits from this genuine, and some of the aftermarket stuff obviously is what we're looking for help with. The interior's had better days, but pretty much all intact. A few cracks in the dash. The seats are obviously pretty far gone. All the plastics and stuff are showing their age. The bonnet hinges are rusted through completely. Totally gone. Front quarter, I think it's a write-off, so we'll get a new front quarter, or a second-hand front quarter. A little bit of a ding on this side next to the door, and on the door, around the lock. And inside the door here as well, needs a bit of work. You see where the rust has been bleeding through and onto the door. I think I put that down to leaks in strange positions that were holding water. I've vacuumed out most of the rubbish where the mice were, obviously. Somebody's been living here, something's been living in here. Giving it a wash. But we've certainly got our work cut out for us. So I thought I'd do a video of the first step. Just trying to give an idea of where we go from here. So anybody in Australia who's done one of these sports before and has an idea of where we can get some of the rubbers and things like that, it would be great to hear from you. Now luckily it came with all the chrome stripping. We took the vent off the front there and the wipers and things to have a good look at what the bonnet pivots were like and why they were grinding as we're opening and closing. The bonnet itself's a write-off, so a new bonnet definitely required. Not worth even touching. Alright, so the guy we bought it off of basically was the second owner as far as we know. We've got a bit of a history of it. Came with the books, so we have the info on who the owners were. It's a low Ks unit. It's a rare one because it's a sport. You don't see many of them around anymore. And the kilometres are good, so we thought it was well worth a try. Spent some time getting it to start. Had to put a battery in it, obviously. Pulled all the plugs out. Checked the compression, had good compression. Cranked it over for a while with a bit of oil in the cylinder bores. Everything seemed fine. Put the plugs back in. Gave it some hydrocarbons, gave it a few squirts of some brake clean, believe it or not, because it runs really well on brake clean, CRC. And she would idle for us or run for us. We just had to get petrol up. Once we got the petrol up, it seemed alright. The petrol, of course, 2014 was the last time it was serviced. So imagine the petrol's a few years old. We did get it to run, did get it to idle, and it idled really well. One of the reasons why we decided on taking it. All the gears were there, clutch was there, and it still starts pretty well. Mechanical choke, which won't stay out at the moment, but if I crank it over, it seems to want to jab camera there. Seems to want to start fairly easily. We ran it without the radiator cap on, just checking to see if there was any head issues. And that all seemed fine. Still had fluid in it. We haven't got a temperature gauge working at the moment. I think it might be in the dash because I've earthed out the sender and it didn't change the dash at all. So it might have a few wiring issues. But for its age and for the amount of running she's done recently, of course it's a bit wet. It rained last night, bonnet's off, and we washed it. But it's 1.8 litre boxer, and they're always a nice simple overhead valve. A bit rough on the idle at the moment, but cold obviously. It's just trying to stay alive. So that side of it I think will be a nice easy part of the build.